What's it like when you're the new guy at SNL?
Terrifying. I use that word a lot because like that's the most, the closest word that like really describes a feeling. You know what I mean? It is like absolutely terrifying. If you care, you know what I mean? If you're at all familiar with the show and you know who's been there and you know what I mean? And like what kind of, careers it's launched and things like that. When you're the new guy, it's like, I can't believe I'm here, number one. Number two, why? You know what I'm saying? And then like number three, can I do it? Can I do this? You know what I mean? And after you get through that first season, it's like, wow. But you're still waiting on that phone call to see what's going to happen next year. You know what I mean? And like that goes on.
You feel like you have to fight to get in a sketch?
Definitely. I mean, your biggest fight is writing, basically. You know what I mean? So writing something that will actually win over a room of writers, you know what I mean? Brilliant people, brilliant comedic minds, and, other cast members that are brilliant comedic minds as well. So it's a lot of pressure.
There's been so many lines from SNL over the years. Landshark,
Yeah.
Mr. Bill,
So
Satan.
Yeah.
Oh, when did you first know that you were in a sketch that was going to become part of pop culture, that people would be using that line?
When I heard very suburban Caucasian people, to be PC-ish, I guess, like telling me that they would sing "What's Up With That" around their Christmas tree with their family, and like when they would decorate their Christmas tree, they would sing that without like the TV being on or something. It was just like embedded in their minds, and they were like family culture at that point. At that point, I knew, I was like, oh, that's big.
How did that one come about? What up with
I
that?
just thought it would be funny to like have a talk show and not let people talk, basically. You know what I mean?
And so on the street you get, what up with that?
Oh, all the time. Like between "What Up With That" and "Give Me a Good Burger."
Oh, okay, that's going way back. And then Black Jeopardy, another one that I guess when a sketch recurs, it's a success.
Yeah, for sure. Like more than twice. If it comes back the second time, it's like, okay, that's because it went well the first time. But when you do it more than twice and more than three times, it's like pretty solid. Like Family Feud is like that, you know what I mean? Just very like, we got a good stencil and now we can kind of spray paint a new idea or new jokes over it, you know what I mean? And it's always a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun because it's a good platform for cast members to do impressions and stuff like that. Like, so it makes it look very inclusive. And then Black Jeopardy is just brilliant in my opinion. Like Tucker and Michael Che, like always just kill it every single time. Like every time we land on a subject that fits the host that's going to go into the scenario or whatever, once that's tight, the jokes just start flowing. And then, the last one that we did with Chadwick was, it was pretty big because we were dealing with like the police issue or whatever, and that was very touchy. Like it took us to like the very last second to kind of figure that joke out because my reaction, I didn't want it to, lean one way or the other. I kind of just wanted it to be a natural thing that everybody in the room, no matter what background they are kind of thinking the same thing. So that was tough.
One of the fun things about watching you on the show is you take on the character, but there's always a little part of you you leave over for the audience, which is kind of signaling that, yeah, this is funny, and I'm in with you.
Oh, for sure. I have to keep myself in it, you know what I mean? Otherwise I'll panic, you know what I mean, out of the situation.
I've heard you actually laugh.
Yeah.
For a character.
A thousand times, yeah. I mean, especially if like I'm off camera or something, you'll like hear my laugh like over what's happening. It's just like my way of not making it feel like work, you know what I mean?
How nervous are you? How much pressure is that, even with all your years of doing it?
Leslie told me, like, because I talked to Leslie Jones about this, and I was like, what do I do? I'm nervous before every single show, especially when I do stand-up, because that's so fish out of water for me, because I didn't grow up doing stand-up. So any stand-up I've always done has been like a hired gig where I'm like, well, I'm not really a pro at this, but, here's my story or whatever. I hope you enjoy it. And it usually goes pretty well because, I have a sense of humor and I'm able to talk to people. But at the same time, it would be great to build like, an hour's worth of like real stand-up. Like I hate airport lines, or I hate, food that comes in pre-wrapped packages, or, just any kind of like material that is just normal stand-up type material. But as far as like the show is concerned, even though I have done it so many other times, she was like, if you care about it, you're going to feel those nerves, and I feel it every single time.
Is the idea of eventually leaving SNL, is it a scary thought?
Yeah, because I just feel like then I'll be older, you know what I mean? I'll be, that chapter will be closed, and I'll be closer towards, being an old man for real.
What are you 40?
Yes.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know what?
Take it easy, right?
Let's do that conversation
Stop
another time.
panicking. I still look like a little kid in my dad's suit. That's what's making me laugh.
But you're father of 2 now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot has changed in 15 years.
That's what I'm saying. And like one day my kids are going to be like 4 years older and I'll be 4 years older. And then they're going to like start just being like real like people. And it's going to just freak me out. So that whole like leaving SNL is like another part of that, just feeding into like another like super duper life change.
The country's been through a lot in 15 years. Do we need the kind of laughs that SNL offers now more than ever, or nothing's changed?
A lot of people say that. I mean, that's kind of all I hear. Like, thank God you guys are doing what you're doing because we need you guys like now more than ever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that like slide like to the side or whatever, but there's a lot of truth to that. You know, there's like really gnarly out there.
So I remember when you came on my radar, my boys were this big. We're at Santa Monica Pier, and they're Kenan Cal, and that's what. Do you look back at those days at all?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I mean, people kind of force it on me. You know what I'm saying? Because I still get like Welcome to Good Burgers and all of that, and there's a lot of love from that, and people don't even mention SNL. So it all depends on the person I'm running into.
It's a generational thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever actually watch those shows?
Yeah,
all that?
I mean a little bit, on edge because I was, very raw and still learning, But all that used to make me laugh because that was just kids being crazy. But the sitcom version of Kenan and Kel, where I was kind of acting, I was like, oh man, you're taken from Martin Lawrence, you're taken from Dave Chappelle. I was like, come on, man.
But that's how it
Where
works.
are you at?
You take
of
a
course,
little and you
become
who you're going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's it like to make people laugh?
It's such a privilege. You know what I mean? It's such a privilege to be able to pick somebody's day up. I don't know if it's necessarily stemming from politics, but they could have had, just a bad day. They stubbed their toe that morning, and like you give them a laugh, and like that pain goes away for a little while. That's a privilege that I, consider very sacred.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.